The Lost Cub, A Journey Through the Shadows of the Jungle. Introduction. In the heart of a vast and mysterious jungle, where the trees rise like giants and the sounds of life fill the air, there lies a tale of survival and discovery. This story isn't about the jungle's most powerful predators. It's about a young cub, alone and vulnerable, separated from the safety of its mother. It's a story that proves even the smallest creatures can find their way through the darkest shadows, discovering courage and wisdom they never knew they possessed. Join me as we follow the journey of a young lion cub who, lost and alone, must navigate the dangerous jungle, face its predators, and uncover the ancient secrets hidden deep within the wilderness. Chapter 1. The Storm. It was a quiet morning when the cub was separated from its pride. The air was thick with humidity, and the jungle seemed to be holding its breath. Then came the storm. The skies tore open, and the once tranquil jungle became a nightmare of wind, rain, and fear. In the chaos of the storm, the cub's mother tried to shield him from the worst of the winds, but the relentless torrents swept him away. The cub found himself alone, lost in the vastness of the jungle. He called out for his mother, but the sound of the storm swallowed his cries. Disoriented and frightened, the young cub stumbled through the dense underbrush, his tiny body battered by the storm. He had no idea where to go or how to find his family again. All he knew was that he had to survive. Chapter 2. The First Steps. When the storm finally passed, the jungle felt eerily quiet. The air was damp, and the ground was a muddy mess of fallen leaves and debris. The cub, now soaked and cold, had to find shelter. With no pack, no pride to guide him, he began to search for a safe place. The jungle was vast and unforgiving. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, and every rustle of leaves made the cub's heart race. But he had no choice. He couldn't stay out in the open. And as he wandered, he noticed something. He wasn't alone. An older, more experienced predator, an adult leopard, watched him from the shadows. The cub had heard stories about leopards. They were stealthy, ruthless, and far more dangerous than any lion he had ever known. Well, there was something different in the leopard's eyes, something that didn't seem to want to attack. It was almost as if the leopard was curious, studying the cub in a way that suggested knowledge, not violence. Chapter 3. The Encounter. The cub, in an attempt to escape the leopard, darted into a dense thicket, but he was still being watched. After a long pause, the leopard finally approached, its movements slow and deliberate. The cub froze, terrified, but then the leopard spoke in a low voice. "Do not be afraid, little one," the leopard said. "You are lost, but the jungle can be more forgiving than you think." The cub blinked in confusion. He had never heard an animal speak before. "What do you want from me?" the cub asked, his voice trembling. "I want to teach you," the leopard replied. "The jungle is full of dangers, but it is also full of lessons. I can help you find your way, if you listen." Chapter 4. The Lessons of the Jungle. The leopard, who called himself Jenga, taught the cub many things over the next few days. He taught him how to read the signs of the jungle, how to find food and water, and how to recognize the patterns of the predators and prey around him. The cub learned to move silently through the underbrush, to hide in the shadows, and to understand the ancient rhythm of the jungle. Jenga was a teacher, but he was also a guardian of secrets. He spoke of the jungle's deep mysteries, ancient trees that held the memories of the world, hidden caves where the jungle's true power lay, and stories of long-forgotten creatures that had once ruled the land. These secrets fascinated the cub, who began to see the jungle not just as a place of danger, but as a vast living entity full of life, wisdom, and beauty. Chapter 5. The Test of Survival. One day, Jenga took the cub to a part of the jungle he had never seen before, an ancient grove, where the trees were towering and gnarled, their roots twisting like serpents in the earth. There in the heart of the grove lay an ancient temple, half swallowed by the jungle. This is where the first creatures of the jungle once met, Jenga explained. It is a place of power, but power comes at a cost. You must prove yourself if you wish to truly understand the jungle's secrets. The cub, feeling the weight of the moment, approached the temple. It was dark and oppressive inside, the air thick with the scent of decay and mystery. As he ventured deeper, he encountered a challenge. A massive snake, its body coiled around the entrance, blocking the way. The cub froze, his heart racing. He had heard stories of such serpents, creatures of pure malevolence, but he knew he couldn't turn back. He had learned from Jenga that survival meant making choices, even when fear threatened to paralyze him. With a steady breath, the cub waited. The snake lunged, but in a flash, the cub sidestepped, using the skills Jenga had taught him to evade the attack. The snake, surprised by the cub's quickness, hissed in anger and struck again. But this time, the cub was ready. He lunged forward, using his claws to strike at the serpent's exposed underbelly. The snake recoiled, hissing in pain, before slithering away into the shadows. The cub had passed his test. Final thoughts. The cub's journey through the jungle had transformed him. From a scared, lost creature, he had become a survivor, learning the ancient ways of the jungle and discovering its hidden secrets. Through Jenga's teachings, the cub had learned not just how to survive, but how to understand the deep, interconnected web of life that surrounded him. The jungle was no longer a place of fear. It was a place of discovery. The young cub, now stronger and wiser, had come to understand that survival was not simply about avoiding danger. It was about embracing the jungle's lessons, understanding its mysteries, and accepting the role each creature plays in the cycle of life. And as he continued his journey, the cub knew that he had only just begun to uncover the ancient secrets of the jungle, secrets that would shape his destiny and the future of the wilderness itself.